I doubt if you still be there. Of course, you remember me, but I doubt if you still be there. And now we are going to what used to be our house. And you don't remember anything here?
I remember the time when we traveled.
This is our flat. This one right here. This is where we used to live.
I remember one time somebody stole your iPhone and you thought it was me that misplaced.
Right? You misplaced it.
Someone stole it.
Avisha, you misplaced the iPhone.
I didn't misplace the iPhone.
You misplaced the iPhone.
I did not.
The iPhone that I bought from America with all my money. And I used to live in this place, in this workshop.
Oh.
Yep. I had a small cutting table there that I used to sleep on. And I would wake up in the morning. Nobody knew I was living there though. I would wake up in the morning around maybe like 5:30. Then I would quickly have my bath here. There was a small, this tiny small space here like this. I'd have my bath here. Then I would go out all the way to the estate gates, then walk back in as if I was just coming, so that people will know that I slept here. And I used to sleep here for, I think, like months, about 7 or 8 months. So we became like a dynamic duo. I was doing male, she was doing female. And we're going everywhere just selling shirts. We started with selling shirts because that was the easiest thing to do. And that was the cheapest thing to produce. We're selling our shirts for 3,000, 5,000. And the expensive ones, the ones that the designs were crazy, were 5,000. The regular ones were 3,000, 2,500. And we just kept doing that. And we would always go everywhere to sell clothes. Customers were calling left, right, and center. And I think basically we grew the business on referral. If I'm going to be honest, we grew the business on referral. So somebody bought a shirt, he liked it, he wore it, somebody would see it and say, oh, I like this shirt, give me the number of, where did you buy it from? And then the person would be like, oh no, somebody made it. Give me the guy number. So we'll go to the guy's office, we'll take measurements, we'll go back to Lagos Island, we'll buy the fabric, we'll sew it, we'll go and deliver. It was very easy at the very beginning, but as it grew, it became a problem. It became a problem because, let me not say bad things, but some of our customers were not the most pleasant people in the world. Some of them will make you cry. Yeah. But we were roughing it. I mean, we just kept doing it. And all this while, Tokwe's mom was always wondering, what are these people doing? Like, because, she came from the mindset of, you go to university, you finish, you get a job, you get married, and you live happily. But here we were, young boy, young girl, saying you want to start a business. And I remember she called me one day and told me that normally, the normal human progression, you go to school, you finish school, you do your NYSC, you get a job. When you are retiring, that's when you do a business. You don't do a business at the beginning of your life. Don't waste your youth. And I was like, yeah, I understand that you really love us and you don't want us to fail in life, but this is what I want to do. And then she was like, okay, I can't force myself on you, but how about my daughter? I just kept doing it, and that was that. Dragon's Den. Dragon's Den. When I think about Dragon's Den today, I still feel like crying. That's how much of a burn it had on my heart. So we sold clothes on the road for like 4 years or more. Can't say precisely now, but at some point, maybe like the first or second year, we realized that, okay, you know what, we want to open a store. Because we realized that the business wasn't the kind of business we wanted to do. We didn't want to just be driving up and down and selling clothes to people in their office. Because you would encounter some situations that would be like, this is not right. So sometimes you go to somebody's office and the guy will keep you waiting for maybe like an hour. And when he came, he'll say, well, let's go to the restroom to go and take measurements. And you're like, why are we taking measurements in the restroom? Or you go to someone's office and the guy tells you, you know what, I can't see you today. I mean, you're right there. And he says, oh, I can't see you today. Come back tomorrow. But you have to go back now. You need the money. Or maybe you go to someone's office, you deliver an item and the guy tells you, okay, you know what, I'll pay you. I'll send you the payment after I try it on. And it wasn't like now when you have bank transfers and the rest of that. You probably have to go back to the person's office and then they'll write you a check for maybe 2,500 or 1K. Then you go and line up in GTB or whatever bank. So it was not, at the very beginning, it was fun. But when we started taking it as a business, it wasn't fun anymore. And then we realized, okay, we need to up this thing. So we had gone from just selling clothes for hobby to now being a full-scale business. And we'd sit down and talk about how, okay, what are our plans for the future? How do we see this business? What do we want to do? Blah, 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 blah. And then we decided, okay, you know what? We want to open a retail store where people can come in and buy clothes, because we realized that the bespoke thing, that's taking measurements and making clothes for people, wasn't really working anymore. And also for me, it was like, okay, how many clients can you take on as a bespoke customer? And I started seeing that ready to wear was the future. Like, I mean, I wanted to have a business where I don't have to attend to every customer. I don't have to see a customer before a sale can be made. So we had decided, okay, you know what, ready to wear was the direction we wanted to go in. We wanted to make clothes, design them down in sizes, and customers would come and buy them. And the only way that could work was a store. So we wanted to get a store. I remember I was at Digital then, Timothy's studio then, when he walked in and he brought he brought a flyer, and he was like, oh, I was like, what's this? He was like, oh, it's a business reality TV show, Dragons Den. I'm like, what's Dragons Den? They were like, these people, if you go on the show, they'll give you money. If you can pitch your business, they will invest in your business and everything. I was like, wow, this is what I've been waiting for all my life. Took the flyer from him. I went to meet Tokpa. I showed it to her, and she was like, oh, really? I wasn't really excited about it, but I was, because I mean, we've been doing the business for 4 years, and it looked like we weren't progressing because we're just doing the same thing year in, year out. And I just felt like this was our ticket out of the jungle. This was the ticket out of the trenches. Because, I mean, if we won that investment, we could really now show the world what we've always wanted to do. Because I think at that point, all of our friends looked at us like failures, because they were getting married, they were getting their first apartments, they were buying cars, and we were still selling 2,500 naira shares up and down Lagos. Anyway, so we prepared for Dragons then. They even had a proper boot camp. Yes, I remember Dragons. And it was very, very serious something. They had a proper boot camp. We went for the boot camp. They teach you how to write a business plan, how to pitch, how to talk. But I wasn't interested in all of that, because me, natural salesman, I can talk my way out of jail. I know. On the day that we were supposed to go, so Timothy went the day before us, and he didn't win. And when he came back and said, I didn't win. I'm like, you didn't win? What do you mean by that? We're like, I didn't win. It was just too sad. Those people just didn't want to invest, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, I told them that my friend is coming and is going to win the money. He was talking about me. That's the kind of faith people had in me back then. Even myself, no get that kind of faith. On the day that I was supposed to appear on Dragons Den, I wore a grey blazer with an Oluwafemi crest in front, a white shirt, black pants, and shoes. I remember exactly what I looked like. Tokpa was wearing a dress that she made. When it was our turn, we got on. We had practiced our pitch. If I say this, you say this. When they say this, we say this. If I say this, it was a perfect pitch. And then we went and then we pitched our business. Everything was going all well and smooth. Then I remember the guy that owns Channels TV, I think John Momo, I can't remember his name. He asked me a couple of questions. Oh, this jacket that you're wearing, it seems like it has a fault on the shoulders. I'm like, no, it doesn't have a fault. It's handmade. It's made to my specific measurements. I started defended it and all. Then he kept quiet. Then he came back again. I was like, I still feel like there's an error with the jacket, but I was like, nah. And then, what's that woman's name? Ibukun Awusonya. I don't think I can ever forgive that woman in my life. But when I think about it, though, she did us a favor. When I think about it, at that point, that was when the feminist movement was beginning to. But I didn't know, because if I had known when she was talking, I would have just said yes, man, no problem. But, the first thing she said was, "Young man, I know that you are very enthusiastic about your business, but next time when you have a woman with you, let the woman speak." And then I responded by saying, yeah, but if you ask me a direct question, how would you feel if I have to pass off the question to my partner and all? And she was like, no, she's equal to you, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she said at the end of our long speech, I'm not investing in your business. Okay, I was like, no problem. There are 4 other guys there. The other guy takes the floor, talk. Oh, I'm not investing in your business. I was like, Then the third guy, at this point, my heart was pounding. Bing. Prince Tejo said, you see, with what you guys are doing, I see a similarity between what you're doing and what Zara is doing. At that point, I didn't know who Zara was. I didn't know what Zara was at that point, because I'd never gone anywhere. I never traveled before. So he said, I see a similarity between what you guys are doing and what Zara is doing. And so why would I buy your clothes when I can buy from Zara? I'm like, Zara? Who is Zara? I don't know Zara now. Then he said, and then moreover, you guys are making more African. Yes, when I think about it, those people were just contradicting themselves. I'm going to be honest. They were just contradicting themselves, because one of them said, I mean, the name of your brand is Oluwafemi. You should make more African in tune stuff. And the other one said, I mean, I see a lot of African designs in the catalogs that you guys gave me. If my staff showed up to work on Monday in an African print, I mean, I'm going to send him back home. They were just a bundle of contradictions anyway. When I think about it, I can't really blame them because now waiting they understand with that. The third guy says he's not investing. The fourth guy says he's not investing. The fifth person says he's not investing. And that was it. We stood up, we left, and I didn't know what hit me, but we just walked out of that place and we're supposed to take a staircase down to where we parked. So I can't even say this is what happened, but I just sat down on that staircase and I started crying. And I was not crying, I was wailing because I had put my entire life on Dragon's Den. For me, that was our ticket out of the trenches. That was our way of telling everybody else that, this thing when I say no go walk, you don't they walk. Oh. I was just crying. Like I sat down on the staircase and I was crying. And I remember Tokwe putting her hands over my shoulder and telling me, why are you crying? And I was like, man, this is it. I can't do it anymore. I was crying because it's been 4 years of struggle, like disappointment left, right, and center. And people telling you, why are you wasting your life away? You're seeing your mates, they're progressing. You are still collecting shares, you are chasing Taylor up and down. And Taylors are not the easiest human beings to work with. I just put all my dreams and life goals on Dragon's Den. And when Dragon's Den went down the drain, I just felt like that was the end. Sat down beside me and she was like, don't worry, we're going to get it. We're going to make it. This is not the end. I looked at her and I was like, this girl don't know, say, she don't know, say, translation, fuel don't finish inside this car. I think for like an entire week, I didn't even go back to work. I was just in the house in Nagbara Estate, sleeping and waking, because that was one of the greatest disappointments of my life. But when I look back, it was a blessing. Uncle Labi. So one of the things that Dragon Den did for us actually was that it was a national TV show. So people all over Nigeria watched it. Friends and family would call it, I saw you on TV, I saw you on Dragon's Den, I saw you on Dragon's Den. And I think I don't know you. I can't remember if he was the one that called us or we ran into him. My uncle, the rich one, Uncle Lavi. Somehow, we ended up in his house. We showed him the business plan. This and this and what we want to do. Want to open a store. Want to do this. And he read through the plan and was like, oh, this is nothing now. I mean, and really when he said this was nothing, it was nothing. Because if you know Uncle Lavi back then, Benz's, Rolls Royce, it was a big G. He said, you know what, give me 2 weeks, I'll call you back in 2 weeks. I think what we're looking for then was maybe like 2 million, was probably in the realm of 5 or 10 million now. So he says, give me 2 weeks, I'll call you back. He never called us back. 3 weeks later, when I didn't hear from him, I sent him a message. I called him. I sent him another message. Called him. He didn't pick. Kept calling. He wasn't picking. I just kept calling and still wasn't picking. Then, I think it was a month later, I realized that, this man don't go store, so that was also another disappointment, and I cried. But we decided after that, you know what, our destiny is in our hands. Now we'll go do it by ourselves. Nobody was going to do it for us. So we went back to what we were doing. Just kept rinsing and repeat. That's your mother's department. Planning studies, yes. So this is our department. This is actually our department, Gongo. This is my faculty. Downstairs there, that's the Department of Philosophy. The one written in black.
Oh, yes,
that's my department. That was my department. It wasn't so far away from your mother's department. So that's actually how I met her.